Mountain, and I help entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs learn more about marketing and make it make sense. So today I'm going to be sharing with you about a book that I'm reading today. This is for Mindful Monday. Last week was Mind Numbing Monday, but this week is going to be Mindful Monday. And so, but before I get started, happy Halloween. I know some people are a little weird about Halloween, and I actually was. I saw an ad from somebody, and a guy was dressed up in this Halloween costume, and then he was with his kids, and they're all dressed up, and then somebody in the comments was like, I don't understand how you could celebrate this as Satan's holiday. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Every day that you're not living to your greatest potential is Satan's holiday. It's not just like one day out of the year. I think a lot of times Christian people, religious people, they feel a sense of, righteousness when they say, I gotcha. We can't celebrate that thing. And it's just ridiculous. Okay, that's my personal opinion, because there's so many days. There's 365 days out of the year. And I pretty much can guarantee you that you're not 100% of those days, 100% not saved. You got a little bit mixed in there every single day. So I hope that those of you who enjoyed Halloween with the little kitties and the candy and stuff, I hope you had a great, great day. And let's get into the content. So I'm reading this. Actually, I'm listening to an audio book, right? Who has time to read? Although I know I need to make time to read, but hey, we do what we need to do. So this book is called Your Forces and How to Use Them by Christian D. Larson. Can you see that? By Christian D. Larson. And I'm not sure where I got this book reference from, but it kind of reminds me a little bit about Think and Grow Rich. I think it takes the guidelines in Think and Grow Rich, and it makes it a little bit more actionable and make a little bit more sense. So if you're an entrepreneur, I'm sure you probably have read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. But one of the things I found difficult about Think and Grow Rich was the whole concept around desire, and how you had to have a burning desire in order to be able to create the wealth in your life, right? To think and grow rich. And so I've never felt like a burning desire to do anything related to business, to be honest. I'm not super materialistic. I mean, I like nice things, and I like quality things, and I like to do nice things. Don't get me wrong, but I've never been like money motivated in the sense it's like, oh, I gotta have $1 million. So burning desire was like a hard concept to me. And I was like, why is it that I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have a burning desire? And but as I was listening to this book, particularly the chapter that we were on today, it really helped me to kind of hone in on what are some of the factors that might keep you as an entrepreneur or in any area of life from really kind of going forward and making progress in the area that you want to make progress in. Because sometimes it can just be baffling. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Why am I not getting a better result? And so what I'm going to share today are the 3 things that affect your will. And so one of the things that he talks about a lot in this book is the power of your will, and how if you do not have a strong will, then you won't be able to accomplish, even though you have the potential and you're making moves and you're taking action. If your will is not 100% your own, or if you don't own your will, if you outsource your will, for lack of a better word, to somebody else, then you will not be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So he gave 3 things that have the most impact on your will. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. So the first thing he said, surprisingly, this actually surprised me. The first thing he said that had an impact on your will is alcohol. Alcohol. And so what he said, and that the reason this really shocked me is because I'm just reflecting on how recently, I would say in the last year, the abundance of alcohol in everywhere. Like there are whole sections in the grocery store that used to be other stuff that now is alcohol. So to hear, and this book is pretty old. Like I don't know when it was published, but probably I'm I'm thinking in the 1900s. But to have alcohol be one of those things, and the number one thing, in fact, was really startling. So, and in fact, that alcohol, anything that causes you to not act in your will, anything that takes away your ability to act within your will, it is detrimental, right? And alcohol apparently even has generational effects on your ability to manage your will, because over time, what happens is if you don't exercise your will and you don't get and you don't allow your will to guide you, then it's like if you don't use it, you lose it. And so if you're numbing your will with alcohol time and time again, over time, you'll have less will, and that will even move on down the line to your family. So there's like generations of people who don't have will. They don't have the ability to harness their will, to make changes in their life. You can do it, but the alcohol is kind of like a generational curse. It's Halloween, so let's talk about curses. On yourself and your family. So cutting out the alcohol, not on any overly righteous tip, but just from the perspective of anything that would prevent you from being able to actually operate your will and will yourself to do something, you have to get rid of it. You just do. Or you just accept that that's part of your life and you be happy with that. No judgment. Whatever you want to do, right? The second thing that he said had an impact, and I know I would probably get some grief on this if the right people were listening, is I can't remember the exact term he called it, but it was the religious, it was called psychicism or something like that. And that was when you allow yourself to be guided by the fact that you're doing something for a higher power that's not you, right? So it's like, oh, I'm doing this for God. I'm making this happen for God, and it's not my will, but your will. Anytime you do something like that, you're again giving away your will and your ability to will yourself to do what you desire to do. Now, we always aren't going to be willing ourselves to do something that's great in somebody else's eyes, but the ability of you to move forward in the direction of your choices and make those choices with your will and will yourself to do it, that's where your power comes from, because you'll go through it and you'll either accept it or you'll want to change it, but it'll be your will. Now, before you religious folks get on me and say, well, what are you talking about? It's not God's will. He's not atheist. This person, he's not saying, oh, don't let God be your will. But if you look in the Bible, it's like, even if that's your holy book, even Jesus said that even greater things than these you will do. So it was never an expectation that God was up here and you were like this lowly person who just praise God and never do anything and talk about how wretched you are. That's not biblical. That is not biblical. Period. I don't care who told you that. It's not biblical. It's not biblical for you to go, oh, I'm lowly and it's God and it's not me, because God expects us to grow. He expects us to develop. He expects us to be a contributor to the mass consciousness. So even the concept of saying, oh, well, no, I'm just lowly. It's just God. It's not me. It gives away your will. And when you give away your will, you no longer have the ability to guide and direct your life the way that would be most beneficial to you. So right, wrong, or different, agree or disagree. The second thing was surrendering your will, outsourcing your will to a power higher than you or outside of you, right? Or in this case, number two was outside of you. The third way that he says that we give away our will is when you give it to other people. So even in this case, say you're in a relationship and you want to do one thing. You want to go to a movie. Your partner wants to go, I don't know, play basketball. Right? Whenever you give away your will, you say to yourself, oh, I want to do this, but I'm going to do this because they will it. You're reducing your ability to exercise your will. When you reduce your ability to exercise your will, then you won't be able to exercise it when you need to make big changes in your life. Until you recognize what you're doing, you won't be able to. So Anytime you give away or you outsource your will to somebody outside, to something outside of yourself, whether it be alcohol, whether it be a higher God, whether it be a person, you're reducing your ability to operate your will in a way that will benefit you and the greater good, because you're here to make a difference, based on not some higher calling to make the world a better place, even though we want that to drive us because we all want to lift each other up. But really, it's so that you can be the best version of you. And in that activity of being the best version of you, whether it's the way you run your business or the way you raise your children or the way are involved in community service, when you do those things that make you uniquely you in an excellent fashion because it is your will to do so, then you are behaving in a godly manner, because now you're contributing to the greater consciousness. You're raising and elevating up those around you. And that is exactly what God expects us to do. And in doing that, we elevate everybody. So with that, that's what I wanted to share today. The 3 ways that you undermine your will or reduce your ability to function and operate in your will. The first way is by alcohol. So reduce that alcohol to, I'm not saying don't have a glass of red wine every now and then, but know that alcohol, anything that causes you to not be able to manage your will, is not good. So the second thing was giving your will away to something higher and outside of yourself, again, in the sense of a minister or God or whatever it is, outside of yourself, will undermine your ability to direct your will. And third and finally is giving away your will, your ability to choose, surrendering your will to somebody else's will, will also cause you over time to reduce your ability to effectuate and to actually use your will to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. So you'll be like, I don't understand why I can't do this, because you've nullified your will by outsourcing it to others. So with that, I hope that's helpful for you. I know it might be a little bit deep or a little bit esoteric, a little bit hard to swallow for some people, but in my own personal experience, I have found these things to be true. And so that's why I wanted to share with you, because it was it wasn't kind of like an aha moment completely. It was kind of like oh, that makes sense. Because this is what I experienced. I experienced it, those times when I can't will myself to do something. I've experienced those times when I felt kind of less of a person, when I was, in worship or whatever, talking about how low I am, but then saying how great my God is. I've had those moments where I just didn't sing songs in church anymore because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Jesus said I would do greater things than him. I don't even understand that. What is that? So I've experienced it. And so I wanted to share with you. So hopefully it helps. If it helps, then definitely share the video. I love it when people share my videos. And if this resonates with you, comment below some area where perhaps you haven't been able to manage your will. And does this resonate with you or not? Does it make sense that maybe alcohol and different things like that can be affecting your ability to be as successful as you want to be? So let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay, bye for now.